secret nuclear activities. But don't worry, we're going to monitor them very, very carefully. I don't care. We're not going to be able to know what they're doing. It's their country. They know what they're hiding and where they're hiding it. Yeah, here's my question. How many more signals do we need? What do they got to do? Come up and punch us in the nose with a nuclear warhead? I don't understand. How much more information do we need? Why are we denying this? Why are we putting our heads in the sand? Why are we pretending that what's going on is not going on? To whose benefit? There's not a generation before us that would have put up with this. We talk about the greatest generation for a reason. Are we the greatest generation? Are we the biggest cowards? I'm quite serious about this. I don't get it. So let's take a look at this France 24 English version. Just a few days ago, Iran has amassed more nuclear weapons grade uranium. It's ready to roll. It's just a matter of them piecing together the final product, the model of what it is to contain their bombs, and they're ready to roll. I mean, folks, this is deadly serious. Go.
In a confidential report to member states, the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, says Iran carried out secret nuclear activities with material.
So stop. Secret nuclear activities. But don't worry, we're going to monitor them very, very carefully. I don't care. We're not going to be able to know what they're doing. It's their country. They know what they're hiding and where they're hiding it. Yeah, here's my question. How many more signals do we need? What do they got to do? Come up and punch us in the nose with a nuclear warhead? I don't understand. How much more information do we need? Why are we denying this? Why are we putting our heads in the sand? Why are we pretending that what's going on is not going on? To whose benefit? There's not a generation before us that would have put up with this. We talk about the greatest generation for a reason. Are we the greatest generation? Are we the biggest cowards? I'm quite serious about this. I don't get it. Go ahead.
Not declared to the UN nuclear watchdog. It did so, the agency says, at 3 locations that have long been under investigation.
We don't have a political agenda here.
The findings mean Iran could be found in non-compliance of its non-proliferation obligations.
Happening here. We have found traces of enriched uranium in places that were not supposed to be having any...
Now, to this man's credit, IAEA General Director, he's in charge of the UN division that's overseeing this, and he's saying, hey, look, we're finding traces of nuclear activity here in the dust, in places where it's not supposed to be. And he's saying, they're doing it, and we can't find it all. Go ahead.
No, let alone enriched uranium, any nuclear activity.
In a separate report, the agency says that Iran has increased its stockpile of enriched uranium to near weapon-grade levels to, as of the 17th of May, 408.6 kilograms of uranium enriched up to 60% purity, which it says means Iran's stock had grown by almost half since an IAEA report in February.
So they've grown by almost half since the Republicans have taken control. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's only 4 months, by my calculation. I mean, they're there. Mark, you keep saying they're going to be there. They're there. Okay, are we happy now? They're there. Now what are we going to do? I mean, it's hitting the fan right now. The rubber hits the road right now, right now. Go ahead.
Iran's foreign ministry rejected the findings of undeclared nuclear locations and activities as a politically motivated distortion of facts, arguing they relied on fabricated documents provided by Israel.
First of all, they didn't rely on any documents provided by Israel. It's always the Jews. Hey, they got the documents from the Jews. They have satellite information. There are other Western countries with intelligence services. They're able to track the sale of certain types or movement of certain types of rare earth materials and so forth. There's a lot of ways to monitor this stuff. I hope the Israelis are providing them with everything they know, because the Israelis have one of the best intelligence services on the face of the earth. Imperfect, that's clear, but still one of the best. Go.
Concerning uranium enrichment, the Tehran Times reported that Iranian officials have stressed that 60% enrichment supports civilian needs, like medical radioisotopes and research reactors.
Now let's stop right there with that graphic. They've stressed that 60% enrichment supports civilian needs like medical, radioisotopes, research reactors, and so on. No, it doesn't. One of the other things this report says, it's the only country on the face of the earth that has reached 60% enrichment for civilian use. You don't need 60% enrichment for nuclear power, domestic needs, for medical activities, for whatever it is you're doing. You don't need it, and there's not another country on the face of the earth without nuclear weapons that does what Iran's doing. Why do I have to explain that this is a terrorist, bloodlust, murderous regime, and that anything they say is to be rejected? In other words, I'm not in charge, that's for sure, but if I was in charge, I wouldn't give a you-know-what they have to say. I want different game plans on my desk. Okay, how are we going to take these out? We're going to send in special forces. We're going to send in our stealth bombers. We're going to coordinate with the Israelis. Maybe the Israelis should go front and center. We give them air cover. We need our bombers with our big, I'll call them Big Bertha conventional bombs. You know, we have this bomb that's like 30,000 pounds of TNT equivalent. The Israelis, the best they can do is 2,000 because they don't have bombers. I mean, it's a small country. And the last time I checked, by the way, and we'll get to that, I think Russia has fewer bombers than it did yesterday. Good for Ukraine. But nonetheless, this is the problem. So I would say I want every option on the table, and I'm going to pick one. And I want you to inform the Israelis. I want our friendly Arab states, right? We got a lot of friends now. Qatar, no? I don't think I'd tell them. Saudi Arabia would be with us because they don't want that Iranian regime there. Same with Egypt, same with Jordan. There are certain Arab countries that would stand with us in terms of what we know and what we need to know, but there's certain ones that wouldn't. But I'm sorry, that's just Mark's view. It's not a warmonger view. It's not a neocon view. It's a red-blooded Yankee American view that these people who want to blow us off the face of the earth have to be denied the weapons that they can use to blow us off the face of the earth. Go.
Iran's foreign minister on Saturday said nuclear weapons were unacceptable, but Iran did have the right to enrich uranium.
So they say nuclear weapons are unacceptable. He's a liar. And then they say, in fact, the head muckety-muck, the biggest terrorist of the terrorists, Khomeini, put out a fatwa, which I guess is like a message from God himself, whatever, and saying that we don't use nuclear weapons and they're against our faith. So everybody's been saying, can you release that so we can read that? He's never issued it. Folks, they're terrorists. I don't know what else to say. Wow, we're going to sign that agreement. Yeah, and we're going to honor it too. But they've signed many agreements. They haven't honored a single one. I told you before, they're using the playbook from North Korea, that inbred that now has multiple nuclear weapons. South Korea has none because South Korea surrendered all of our nuclear weapons back to us as a condition that North Korea wouldn't build nuclear weapons. So we, quote unquote, we denuclearized the Korean Peninsula. But, surprise, surprise, the North Koreans now have nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles, and the South Koreans have nothing. Gee willikers, that reminds me of Ukraine and Russia. 1994, Clinton, negotiated a deal between Russia, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom that Ukraine would give all their nuclear missiles, and they had many, back to the mothership, Russia. But in exchange, their borders would be honored and they would be protected by Russia, the United States, and Britain. 1995, nobody even talks about this. Oh, so what? Doesn't matter. Oh, but they signed this piece of paper. But it doesn't matter. Now, think of the game changer that would be if Ukraine had nuclear weapons. I don't think Russia would have rolled in so quickly, do you? No, I don't. But that's the situation now. And by the way, Russia keeps threatening everybody, including us. We have nukes and they're aimed at you. Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
The fact that they say we shouldn't enrich.
Would I feel like punching this guy in the face? Not that I would. Go ahead.
Is an attempt to impose their dominance over us.
Let me tell you something, a-hole. As far as I'm concerned, we should not attempt to impose our dominance over you. We should dominate you. We should take out your nuclear weapons. And then the people will rise up. You know, the people you're murdering and raping and torturing, those people who you're impoverishing, the Persian people, a good, strong, intelligent people, your little revolution that took over the country. It's like the Taliban. The Taliban represent 14% of the population in Afghanistan. These lowlifes represent some small percentage of it. They're all very rich, just like with the Hamasians and the Qataris and the... But the people suffer there, and they're starving there, and they have blackouts every other day there. This was a rich country, Persia. And now it's this. They seek to dominate us. No, we seek to kick your ass. That's my view. But then again, I'm a neocon warmonger Jew. You know, that's the way it goes. Go ahead.
Why shouldn't we enrich when international law gives us the right to do so?
Separately on Saturday, the foreign minister said his Omani counterpart had presented elements of a nuclear deal between Tehran and Washington. The IAEA's findings now may affect an anticipated sixth round of talks between Iran and the United States.
Well, there we go. This thing is moving every day, so we shall see. Apparently, whatever it is that we proposed is in front of the Iranian regime now, and we shall see. Every day that goes by, they advance their systems, they advance their capabilities. Every single day that goes by, they are in a hyperactive motion right now.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.